So today we're going to be looking at some of the different tax filing services that you can use when filing your taxes. Now here on this list, we're going to be talking about several different companies all together, and some of these companies are going to actually have similar features. Now these are not all the companies, but you can see here currently we're going to be talking about Cash App Taxes, H&R Block, TaxSlayer, and TurboTax first and foremost, because there are some similarities, and then we'll break these each down individually as well with some of the different features and benefits that they exclusively have. So you can see here, all of these companies that we're talking about here today do have a free and paid version. Now, something to keep in mind is that usually the free version includes W-2, but not 1099 self-employment, as well as all of these companies are going to be easy to use. Now, these companies are easy to use. Now, when it comes to going through the process, they do ask you very simple questions. And if you by any chance have used any of them in the past, you can actually import from the previous tax year from that same company. Now you could auto import certain tax documents as well too. So if you are utilizing them, you can have them go right into the platforms. And then the platform mobility typically means that you can actually work on your return through your computer. So it makes it really easy. You can also do it on your website, your phone, or even including your tablet. So you can see here, you can also get free audit support. Typically, audit support or assistance primarily provides guidance on what to expect during an audit and how to prepare for it. So it doesn't actually fully go into that whole process of having an audit support system. It doesn't offer full representation before the IRS, so just something to keep in mind. And that also refund options do allow you to have multiple options on how you're going to receive your money. Now, like I mentioned earlier, make sure you stick around because these companies will also have additional features and benefits that they do offer. Now, also on this list right over here is going to be with Free Tax USA and TaxAct. Those ones are also going to have very similar processes. One of the things that we want to keep in mind with these two companies is that they typically will have just the federal as a tax version, but not the state. So state typically won't be free, and the cost can fluctuate depending on the state you are in. Now, one thing I want to know as we continue going on, in the show notes down below, we will have links to all of these companies. You can go ahead and jump right to their home pages. Some of those links will be affiliate links. It doesn't cost anything extra for you, but allows us to make more free content just like this. Now, next up on this list is going to be in detail with Cash App Taxes. Now, again, we mentioned some things earlier about Cash App Taxes, but in here, you can do accurate calculations. Cash App does the math for you, and the max refund guaranteed helps you get more money back. Now, refunds, you can get up to 5 days early. Deposit your refund right into Cash App to get it actually that much faster. So you do need to have it in there to be able to get that 5 days early. Now, we mentioned earlier it is easy to use because you can do that from your computer, or you can do it directly on your phone, which typically you can file within a few minutes if you have just this basic W-2 forms to go ahead and fill out. Now, next up here on the list is going to be with H&R Block. Now, H&R Block does offer refunds in minutes, which means you can actually get refund advance loans up to $3,500. There's no interest or no loan fees, as well as no impact to your credit. So just something to keep in mind, but of course, you always want to go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper with that information. Now, they do also have the free EIC, which is Earned Income Tax Credit. Typically, it's a tax credit for low to middle income workers. Just something to keep in mind as far as availability. You also have real-time refund results. So if you file with H&R Block, you'll actually be able to see your refund updates in real time and not wonder when your money is going to be coming in. And again, we also talked about some of the different features that it does offer with similarities to the other companies. One of the other things that they do also do is upfront pricing. So you're going to see the cost up ahead of what you're going to be paying versus some of these other companies. You don't actually really know what you're going to pay for up until you get to the part of actually filing your taxes. So next up here is going to be with TurboTax. Now, they do actually say that 37% of filers qualify for the free version. Keeping in mind, there are things that can disqualify you, so I did want to make sure that we talk about that. If you actually own a home, you are disqualified for the free version. Same thing with self-employed, as well as if you sold any stock. So something to keep in mind, even though they claim that they are free, a lot of times they are going to be paid versions that you're going to have to go with. Usually it's anywhere from like $40 to $80 depending on those kind of versions. And then you can also see here, no matter how you file, TurboTax does actually back your taxes for the full 7 years, the 7-year life of your tax return. And then right over here, you can see it is filed with 100% accuracy guaranteed. Maximum refund is guaranteed as well. Now, as far as what that actually means, it does just kind of go over some typical things that people can miss. But even with that, you can actually be missing out on some refunds. So just pay attention when you're going through this that you are filing with all the paperwork you have. as well as all the previous things mentioned when it comes to the benefits and features of all the tax services we talked about today. Now, next up here is going to be with TaxSlayer. You can actually do a free basic 1040 tax return known as a U.S. individual tax income tax return. You actually do education expense covered, so you can actually get more money back on your taxes with deductions for student loan interest and education credits. Now from here, they actually do have phone and email support, so you can do unlimited support by phone or email for confident tax filing. So if you have questions, you can actually reach out to them directly. And they typically say that on their website, they actually have 3 easy steps to go ahead and go through that process, as well as all the other features we mentioned earlier, such as a free version and also tiered versions that you can actually import your tax documents directly, and it is mobile friendly too. Now, next up here is going to be with Free Tax USA. You can actually do the earned income credit if you needed to. You can actually do investments as well too. You can actually report income from stocks, bonds, and dividends, as well as for small businesses. You can file with your self-employed filings, as well as your 1099 contractor income for all of those. And then, like we mentioned earlier, they also do have all of those additional features and benefits from the initial mention. So here with TaxAct next, you can see right over here, you can actually have it covered with a W-2 income, unemployment income, retirement income, tax credit, child tax credit, earned income credits, dependents, current students, and student loans. This one is going to be free for the federal, as well as some paid tiers, depending on if you have like stock claims or if you are a small business owner, you are going to have to go through the higher tiers. That's going to be typically the case with all of these different companies that we are talking about here today. So next up here is going to be with the IRS. Now, the IRS provides free online tax preparation and filing at an IRS partner site. Our partners deliver this service at no cost to the qualified taxpayers. Now, it's for taxpayers whose AGI, which is adjusted gross income, is $73,000 or less, can get that free federal return. Now, again, keep in mind that this is for the federal return, but also some state tax preparations and filings are additionally free. A lot of times you can actually check with your state website to see if they do offer free tax services for that. And this also does help you guide through the preparation as well too. So make sure, again, you check out those links in the show notes down below so you can go to those websites directly, making sure you get to the correct landing page for you. And once you go ahead and do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, as well as liking the video to keep on getting more free content. And speaking of free content, we're going to go ahead and toss up our next video right over here on screen so you keep on learning and growing when it comes to managing your money.